Judge Tanya Chutkan delivered a scathing ruling against Donald Trump and his legal team this week when she announced that she would not, in fact, be recusing herself from the trial as Donald Trump's legal team had requested she do. But in her decision that she handed down this week saying, I'm not going to recuse myself, she also took a couple of shots at Donald Trump's lawyers for effectively making up and taking out of context things that she had said in previous rulings. So here's what happened. Here's the backstory on this. You had Judge Chutkan, who has overseen a great number of the Capitol rioter cases. And in a couple of those cases, you have had defendants who have gone before Judge Chutkan and said, yeah, Judge, I did these things, but I'm not the one who started the riot, right? That was the Trump guy. That was other people at the Stop the Steal rally. They kind of pushed me into doing this, and therefore I should not be guilty. It was part of their legal defense, and yes, that is pertinent here. And here is what Judge Chutkan wrote in her decision about the statement she had made in those rulings where she said, hey, maybe there was another party that, caused this. But that party's not in my courtroom right now. I'm not ruling on whether that party is guilty or innocent. I'm ruling on whether you are guilty or innocent. And so here's my ruling. So that's effectively what she said in those rulings. She didn't call Trump out by name, even though the defendants did. She said, maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. I don't know. That's not in my court, so I'm not going to decide. But she never actually issued an opinion about whether or not anyone outside of the people in her courtroom were culpable for those events. So here's what she wrote in her ruling this week, saying she was not going to recuse herself. The defense interprets the court's verbal reiteration of Palmer and Priola's arguments, those are the defendants, about their relative culpability as suggesting a secret core view about defendants' criminality. That inferential leap is not reasonable in light of the relevant facts, records, and law. The court was legally bound to not only privately consider those arguments, but also to publicly assess them. I mean, after all, she had to determine, based on their legal arguments in court, whether what they were saying is accurate or not. So she had to address it in the ruling. That's what she had to explain to Trump's lawyers. Like, listen, you may not have been happy that I did it, but because they used it as part of their, claim of innocence, I had to address it in my sentencing memos and in decisions handed down by the court. But then she continued, the court expressly declined to state who, if anyone, it thought should still face charges. It is the defense, not the court, who assumed that the defendant belongs in that undefined group. So here's where she starts taking shots at him. She's like, I never said Trump. And yet you look at this and you assume that these people were talking about Trump, even if he wasn't mentioned. That kind of says more about your guy than it does about me, doesn't it? And then she took the bigger shot. A reasonable person aware of the statutory requirement that the court address the defendant's arguments and states its reasons for its sentence would understand that in making the statements contested here, the court was not issuing vague declaration about third parties' potential guilt in a hypothetical future case. Instead, it was fulfilling its duty to expressly evaluate the defendant's arguments that their sentences should be reduced because other individuals whom they believed were associated with the events of January 6th had not been prosecuted. Let me start that again. A reasonable person. So the judge is like, listen, if y'all were reasonable people, you'd be able to understand why I had to do what I did. But clearly you're not, so let me explain it to you in very simple words that I know you can understand. I like this ruling. It's fun. It's fun to read it, it's fun to analyze it, and it's fun to watch Donald Trump squirm because all of his delay tactics are getting shot down, and Judge Chutkan is having absolutely none of it. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.